Welcome to my teenage years video, whatever. So if you watched the childhood video, you know about my childhood, just a glimpse of my childhood. And now here is my teenage hood. My teenage years, I'm 19 years old. I'll be 20 in October, so this is my last few months of being a teenager. So, I'm just going to talk about my teenage years, I guess. Yeah, when I turned 13, I was legally a teenager. And around that time, I believe all teenagers go through this phase where it's like, I'm older, I can do whatever I want, don't tell me what to do, you know, I'm mature. We're not. We're not. We're stupid people. Teenagers are the dumbest people on the earth because they think nothing can hurt them and they can do whatever they want without any consequences. I was the same way. Not in the sense of doing something illegally and knowing there's no consequences. Just little things around the house, you know, just, yeah. So as a teenager, I pretty much liked the same things I liked as a kid. Video games, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! But then, like, my genre of video games started to change. Actually, it changed when I was, like, 10. Because when I was 10 years old, I played Grand Theft Auto Vice City for the first time. And I fell in love with Grand Theft Auto Vice City. And as a kid, when you play that game, and you have the urge to steal a car in real life. You never do it, but you're like, oh, I want to steal a car. But then it kind of dies down as you get older. It's like, nah. So, video games. I got my first Xbox, the Xbox One, when I was like 11 or 12 or 10. I don't remember. And I remember getting that console and thinking, this is a big boy console. This is for big boys. Because I had the N64 as a kid. And to have this huge console that could do so much more, like play movies. And the graphics looked a lot better. And have Xbox Live. Well, I didn't have Xbox Live as a kid, but I knew what it was, that you could talk to people over a headset like this. My camera set up on my Xbox and kind of like hanging on my TV. So if I take my headset off the top of my television, it's gonna fall. So I knew you could talk to people around the world and stuff like that, but I never got it because I knew it cost money, and I wasn't gonna spend money on Xbox Live. I was gonna spend it on candy. Okay, teenage years. High school was pretty much normal for me. I mean, it wasn't that interesting. I had some fun moments in high school, but not that many. Not like the how television portrays like high school to be. It was kind of boring for me. Obviously, I had some friends to talk to and hang out with. Go to movies every Friday. You know, go to the mall on Saturday. And that was pretty much it. You know, it was pretty basic stuff. Nothing extreme ever happened in high school, except for one thing, which was hilarious. I think it was 11th grade, I was in English 3, and we took the the exam. It was an exam, like the end of level exam or whatever, the last exam you would take in the class, and which was a big part of your grade. And I was very, very sick that day. I was very sick. And I came in to take the test. So I'm feeling sick and crappy while I'm taking this test or exam. And I'm really good at English, so I wasn't really worried about my grade. I was just upset that I was very sick. I was so sick and it sucked. Have you ever taken an exam while you're sick? It's the worst feeling in the world. So obviously I'm taking the exam or whatever. There's 2 parts to this exam, and you either go to the teacher's desk to get the second part and hand in my first part. So I hand in my first part of the exam, and I take the second, and my hand knocks over her coffee and lands on a lot of the Scantrons, the bubble sheets you had to go and scan through to get your grade. And the coffee kind of spilled over the That's still embarrassing. Even like, 2 years later, it's still embarrassing to talk about because I really wish that didn't happen, but it did. And It was the worst feeling in the world. I think the Scantrons were okay though, but it was like that moment like, you have got to be kidding me. This sucks. Oh my god. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I'm kind of think my teenage years were pretty boring. I really haven't done anything really like outrageous. I'm outrageous. I feel like I'm rambling on right now, but I'll try to think of something that was interesting in my teenage years. I think all teenagers, they go through this phase of depression. And I'm 19 years old now, and I don't believe in depression. And I know this turned into a whole different video, but as you know, you're 13, 14, you go through this phase like, oh man, my body's changing, and my voice is changing, and my old friends aren't my friends anymore. People start to change. So they go through this phase where they're sad, called depression. And the reason I don't believe in depression years later, because before, as a kid, you know, as a teenager, I believed in depression. I'm like, oh my god, everything is sucky, and life is changing, and it's not fair, and you know, blah, blah, blah. But then, at 19 years old, I realized, you know, life's going to hand you crap, but you have to get over it. And that's when you choose happiness. That's when you choose happiness. You know, I think depression is a big fancy word for I gave up on happiness. I chose not to be happy, so I'm going to stay unhappy. It's so easy to be happy, though. It's so much easier, and it's better for you to be happy. You know, I'm getting off topic. I'll say that for another video. Maybe a unlisted video or something like that, or whatever. But I feel like we're getting off topic. So as a teenager, video games is still a big part of my life. And I had all the consoles I had was an N64, Nintendo GameCube, and the Xbox One. And I think around when I was 15, 16, we got the Wii 1. And the Wii sucks. And like all my friends had an Xbox 360 or a PlayStation 3, and I was super jealous because I was like, I really want one of those consoles. But it's all like, no, dear, you should not get any more video game console unless you pay for it yourself. So that's when Christmas 2011 happened, and I bought an Xbox 360 with my Christmas money. And I love it. It's so much better than playing Mario Land or whatever. Like, you know, I feel like video games is become a big part of my life. Which not like, I'm not obsessed with video games. Just get that cleared up. I'm not obsessed with video games. I love to play video games, but I'm not obsessed. And I feel like, when I look back, when I'm 30 years old, I look back at my teenage years, I'm thinking about video games, how I used to love video games as a kid or a teenager or whatever. And that's pretty much it. My teenage years are pretty boring. So I turned 20 years old on October 18th. Oh, I'm going to be no longer a teenager. I guess I'm not going to title myself as an adult until I'm 21. But yeah, I think when you're 20, that's like your practice at being an adult. See how you can handle it. And then 21, that's when the ball game begins, you know. When you're 21, that's when it happens. So, that's pretty much it. I've had a pretty basic, teenage year experience, whatever. Yeah. So I'm still freaking out about that spider. If you haven't seen my childhood video, whatever, go check that out. You'll know why I'm freaked out about spiders. I don't see it, but I'm just... Wish me luck. Remember, you're awesome. You should know that. And I will talk to you later.